Hi, I'm Martin Gray. Welcome to this short video, which I hope you'll find inspiring. My intention is that everything I do has a positive and uplifting impact on other people. Mostly up till now, I've relied on my photography and creative art projects to fulfill that intention. However, something else has been taking shape, quite different, yet still aligned with the same intention. It's something that's being called social enterprise. And whilst I'm going to give a clearer definition of that shortly, let me say here that I realized that what I wanted for other people was actually what I also wanted for myself. That being to give people the dignity of creating their living from their talents, ideas, creations, and experiences wherever and however they live. The first way I've already started using social enterprise has been in direct one-to-one ways of supporting people I've met in my many years of travel. People like Maria in Guatemala and Tenzin Kunga, a Tibetan refugee in Nepal. A second way I'm currently using is something called Friends of the World, where I use income from referring a liquid nutrition product to give to a cause that feeds refugee children in Asia. I do this via an organization called Buy One Give One, which again I'll expand on shortly. The third part of the social enterprise direction is in developing a way to not only use that income, but also make the whole food nutrition itself available in developing countries, places where the chronic malnutrition among children and adults is, I believe, crying out for it. I first met Maria in Guatemala while studying Spanish in 2008. I bought some of her fabrics the few times I saw her selling in the streets, and later when I returned to New Zealand, I decided to make a larger order, paying her price, not a bulk discount, and paying up front by Western Union, then selling on a market stall at home to raise money to reinvest the second and subsequent years. Tenzin Kunga, a Tibetan boy in Nepal, was 7 years old when I first started to sponsor his education in 1997 via a UK aid organisation. 2 years later, on an aid trek to the Himalaya, I met him, where I was also humbled and welcomed into the family home. We're still in regular contact, and since his formal education ended, I've been able to continue a direct and personal arrangement with him, he's now 22, and help fund his computer college studies for the next 3 or 4 years. So creating Friends of the World was quite a natural next step, really, to sort of contain these two support activities I'd already started. And I began to look for ways to use the modest referral commissions that I get from Body Balance, the liquid nutrition, to put to good use beyond the need for being my own income. So to summarize that, I wanted to create a situation where commission from my Body Balance referrals could go to a dedicated fund beyond just a donation from me, for use in direct projects like Maria or Tenzin Kunga. I invented Friends of the World and then through Buy One Give One created transaction-based giving every month. Now I want to inspire others, individuals and groups, to consider doing the same for their own causes and ways to generate ongoing funds. So I created a website to explain what I'm doing, the social enterprise concept and my philosophy, as well as more information on Maria, Tenzin Kunga, Buy One Give One, etc. You can visit friendsoftheworld.co.nz to discover more for yourself. So what is Friends of the World? It's an entity, currently not a charity or non-profit organization, but with its own bank account and ability to receive and deposit Lifeforce commission checks. It's an independent Lifeforce member position and a way of allocating and distributing 100% of the Lifeforce-derived funds to projects aligned with nominated purpose and intentions. By being a member of Buy One Give One, I'm able to directly match my referrals or sales activity with a closely related cause. For example, for every bottle of Body Balance sold through my referrals, a Burmese child in a Thai refugee camp gets a nutritious meal. It makes the giving implicit and core to my transactions. It's a meaningful connection and habit which my customers can relate to and be a part of, but without them having to do anything or pay more for. Here's how that could look on a business card. Okay, time to define social enterprise. I believe it's the future of all business, not just referral marketing, especially in a changing world where there feels like less time to connect and appreciate each other. A business not just for economic purpose either, but based on the fundamental principle of giving as the first act in every transaction for the good of other people in your family, your community, your global community. To further explain the difference between social enterprise and social responsibility, I quote this extract from Dr. Pamela Hartigan. Social enterprises are not charities, they're businesses. But they're not profit-maximizing businesses. They're mission-driven enterprises in the job of social transformation, with profits being used as a means to that end. They don't just work with the unemployable or poor as part of their corporate social responsibility. Working with these groups and providing the kinds of goods and services they do is their core business, not a public relations afterthought. So I'm going to explain how Friends of the World generates income, and also introduce the important role of ripples to explain how a group or organization can grow their funds and thus expand their ability to give. I think we're all familiar with this image, right? Ripples going out in all directions from a single concentric source. We also see this used in many ways we act in life. Ways we might call putting information out, communicating, networking. Some business groups use the term giver's gain, and many of us have seen the movie Pay It Forward. It's what we also use in referral and word of mouth to share things we feel would benefit other people, so I think it's a natural and fitting image for us to use. So how could we create funds using life force and residual income, now that we know a bit more about why we want to make money? It starts with having a cause clearly in mind and that first ripple. So here's the detail, how the money is created. We're using Friends of the World here as the example, but this model of course could be used for any individual or group or organization to have a position in the life force referral system. We'll also just focus on the dollar amounts here, shown in red, so as not to get too confused by the other calculations. Friends of the World sponsors a new customer on 2 Body Balance. This generates a first-time commission of $18.15. Each following month's customer order generates a further $8.25. So over 12 months, this one customer alone could generate $108.90 for Friends of the World to donate to a chosen cause. Friends of the World's own monthly order cost is $47.50 plus shipping, and some of this can be claimed as an expense to qualify for the income. Friends of the World can also donate or give away that product or unsell it for cost or profit. And if this customer ever increases their monthly order, say to 4 Body Balance, this also increases Friends of the World's commission each month. Friends of the World can sponsor other customers, no limit, which generate similar first month and ongoing monthly commissions. A customer can also be or change to be a member. A member's first order would also generate the same $18.15 commission. However, the following month's orders, the commission for Friends of the World is less. However, this is not a bad thing because a member can also sponsor other customers and members, generating commission not only for themselves but also for Friends of the World, both first-time commissions and ongoing monthly commissions. Friends of the World can choose to increase its own commission income by increasing its own monthly order and or increasing the number of customers and members in its own circle of influence, as you can see here. Any member sponsoring their customers and members for themselves will naturally increase the circle of influence and income for Friends of the World too. So here's an example of the fund creating potential. Again, these numbers are an illustration, and I can clarify with you specific scenarios that you want to know about if you just get in touch as shown elsewhere in this video or website. Body Balance is currently available for direct orders and shipping in these countries: New Zealand, Australia, USA, Canada, and Singapore. Prices shown here are correct as of February 2013 for a 2-pack regular auto ship order by credit card. excluding local taxes and delivery costs. So, to recap, how to create funds from using Lifeforce and residual income. A 2-pack of Body Balance is a minimum serving for one adult per month. In New Zealand, this costs $78.50 plus a small courier charge. That's less than $3 a day, core basic nutrition, which is less than the cost of a coffee. By referring another person to also order 2 Body Balance as a customer, that creates a one-off thank you check of about 24 New Zealand dollars, or as we said before, $18.15 US. Each following month, that single order will continue to generate between 11 New Zealand dollars and 20 New Zealand dollars, or between $8.25 and $14.85 US. A question can sometimes come up at this point, such as, what if I can't afford that for myself even, or I'm not good at referring? Well, we need to remember we're playing team here. I'll use the example of a rugby team, but whatever team sport you're more familiar with, I think you'll get the picture. Even though in open play, any player can pass or kick or tackle the opposition. But in set plays, it's essential that there are specific players with specific skills in the right place. Without them, the team functions well below its potential. Similarly, if other players all try to do the same job, they get in the way of each other to the same poor result. And of course, if there's only you and no other teammates on the field, that's a lot of running around, trying to cover roles you're not cut out for, and basically the opposition will run all over you. I think you get the picture. So we need to play as teams, but not just to fill the spaces with just anybody. We need the right players in the right places, doing the right things at the right time. Here's an example to explain that for our project here. It's one I presented specifically to a group of a Pacific Asia Women's Association recently in New Zealand. The core members of that group are doing the specific roles they're best at to serve the group and its overall objectives. Sue is good at visioning new ideas. Julie, a confident and effective presenter and public speaker. Rani is best at systems and organization to keep things running, like admin and bookkeeping. Jane has the personal touch to make sure everyone's looked after and supported and gets the info and the help they need. They act together as one unit to promote their group and activities to the community, and they are effective and successful because they share the duties specifically to those best suited to each role. To do otherwise has people underperforming, arguing, things get missed, boredom and unhappiness become the order of the day, and no one likes to work or live in that kind of environment, and certainly when there's no sense of success or accomplishment at the end of the day. So continuing our Ripple theme, this group found that by operating as an effective team, they could reach out to and inspire other groups in the same worldwide organization, as well as individuals in their multicultural network, who in turn continued sharing their information, projects and purpose to others, including different groups like their own church or school groups, who then benefited from this, like fundraising projects, for example. Do you have a group? What would be your cause? What's your reason to make money or do what you do each day? So here's the third part of my intention. Some of you watching this presentation will have heard of Muhammad Yunus, a visionary entrepreneur from Bangladesh and Nobel Prize winner. He's most well known as the founder of the Grameen banking and microfinance movement, which dramatically changed the lives of millions of families in Bangladesh and the Third World, who otherwise would never have had the chance to change their own circumstances. They were able to restore the self-dignity that comes with improving one's home or food or ability to work, create incomes, and support oneself. I'm going to play a short video of Yunus talking about social enterprise, and in particular describing a project which has become the inspiration for Friends of the World, and what we too now intend to accomplish through Body Balance.
We created a joint venture company with Danone. Danone is the food company which the water company and the yogurt company, Danone yogurt, everybody likes. So this is called Grameen Danone Company in Bangladesh. I met the chairman of Danone in a chance meeting, and we were discussing, and I suggested to him, why don't we create a Grameen Danone Company in Bangladesh? He said, to do what? I said, to produce yogurt. You said your yogurt is very delicious. I said, for a special purpose. We can produce yogurt to address the problem of malnutrition among the children of Bangladesh. We take all the micronutrients which are missing in the children, put it in the yogurt, and make it very cheap so that the poorest children can afford it and eat it. There are millions and millions of children in Bangladesh who are malnourished. Experts tell us that if a child eats 2 cups of these yogurts per week and does it over a year, he or she will regain the full health. He said, I agree. He shook hands and he said, I agree. I said, I have not finished yet. I said, it will be a social business. He said, what is a social business? I explained to him, in this business, social business, you can invest, but you cannot take any dividend. You can take all your investment back, recoup all your money, but after you have taken back the last penny, it stops. Company continues to earn profit, but it is not your profit. It's company's profit. Company continues to expand and reach out to more children because it is driven by the social objective. He again shook hands, he said, I agree. This time I thought he doesn't understand my English. But later on I exchanged emails explaining everything. I said, please confirm if we understand each other. He gladly sent me back. He said, I understood every word of it. Let's go ahead and do it. And we created that company. We are selling that yogurt now in Bangladesh. She gets a batch of supplies from the Grameen Danone factory, and then she sells it in the village. We have a special program for beggars. So she might be a member of that group that as a beggar she joined Grameen Bank to take a loan and start the business. Instead of begging around, now she sells around. So it's a transformation by itself. This particular job with selling yogurt came in very handy. She knows the families all around the place. She knows where she can sell this stuff. And people support her because she used to beg. Now she's selling something. So this is good for everybody. If this becomes successful in this cluster of villages, then all we have to do is to repeat this all over Bangladesh. Because as once if you put it in a business format, then the sky's the limit. You can expand it as many ways as you want, because once you get this engine started, it never stops. It runs by its own steam. And that's where the difference between charity and a social business. In charity, when you give the money, it goes away. It never comes back. So charity dollar has only one life. If you use it, it's done. But if you can define this or design this into a social business, then suddenly that social business dollar has endless life because it recycles. It starts moving back and forth again and again. So you touch many more lives and it continues ever and ever.
I hope after that you now have a sense of what and where we're headed with Friends of the World in this video. Yunus speaks of little yogurts made locally, sold for pennies, replace the sugar snacks kids already buy. Once Danone recovers costs, then it becomes a social business, with all profit from then on going back to the community. I asked myself when I first saw that video, why take a man-made product and add synthetic or isolate nutrients when Body Balance already has 120 of them naturally occurring anyway? I propose little bottles or sachets, donated and made available by a small group in my own team, sold for pennies, subsidized, replaced the sugar snacks with real nutrition. No life force costs to recover, but at some tipping point to make it so that local people who distribute or sell can become referrers too. Subsidies could continue or be reviewed when their business reaches certain levels. In a similar vein, I came across this article about nourishing the children of the world. This one is specifically about a nutrient pack created and distributed through Nu Skin, a company with similarities in their structure and products to Lifeforce. Nu Skin's product is a cereal, filling meal, and is a specific product they developed for their causes. It's not necessarily a nutritional mineral supplement in the same sense as Body Balance. However, the company has created the opportunity. And there are many other companies supporting similar projects where better health and nutrition are needed, with products specifically designed for that reason. As I said in the previous slides, however, my question is, why use man-made formulas when such a whole food as Body Balance already exists, just not yet being made available to third world nutrition programs like the Nu Skin and similar products? Not only are we going to create an income for Friends of the World to use in projects, but we're also going to create a way to give Body Balance where it's needed in developing nations, and a way to make small body balances available to children, men and women through microcredit type initiatives. Many of us have such access to regular, traditional, healthy food, and we're so used to talking about all these health tips in our lives, which is fine for us here in the West, but what about here too, these people? In all my years of travel, I've eaten many things in many places, with many people. I've seen how and what they eat, which is sometimes a very humbling experience. Burma, Laos, wherever people are traveling. Basic foods like bread, mangoes, chilies. So often sold in places and ways that would appear unhealthy to our way of doing things, with no health standards or safeguards evident. By the way, Buddhist monks live and eat by the generosity of others. So does a sadhu in the Hindu tradition. So what I'm proposing here is that Body Balance has a real place in supporting the food and nutrition needs of many people for these reasons. We're talking here about micronutrients, simple daily food as health as nature intended us to have. Liquid whole food, not isolates, inorganic or synthetic. Made from 9 types of wild sea vegetation and pure organic aloe vera, 121 identified nutrients, macro and micro minerals, vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, etc., and up to 98% absorbable. Drinking a little every day creates a foundation of health for all ages. As I said, I'm going to create a way to get Body Balance to where it's needed, and a way to make small body balances available to men, women, children and communities to buy and run as their own business. I want to give them the dignity of health and personal empowerment this can bring to other aspects of their life too. Like these people in Nepal, Bangladesh, Burma, men and women, the elderly like this old Tibetan refugee. With your collaboration, help me turn this into this, or this. I hope you've been inspired by this presentation. Here's how to get involved. Register as a customer of Body Balance under the Friends of the World position and consume regular orders helping to create funds. Or register as a member, consume regular orders, and actively promote the products and/or reasons for your own involvement, thereby growing Friends of the World's outreach and funds. Please get in touch with us here at any of these links or phone numbers, and be proud to know that every day you're looking after your own health and lifestyle, you're now directly doing so for other people, men, women and children in all of these countries. Thank you.